Welcome to the Something Old, Something New program, where I'll be talking about reshaping the academic space. But first, a little bit about me. So my name is Tiffany McKinnon. I graduated from the University of Minnesota with my undergrad bachelor's degree. I'm currently attending Westcliff University as an MA TESOL student with a focus in education technology. I specialize in gamification, and I am an amateur fiction writer / researcher and a connoisseur of all art, animation, and gaming. So to talk about reshaping the classroom and how to stay ahead of the curve, first, we'll talk about the state of modernity and how the world is constantly changing. We shouldn't just think about a new generation of students, but also a new generation of educators, since the majority of the people who are now becoming teachers are those of a younger generation to begin with, and are those who have grown up with the internet and technology as necessity at this point. And for a little bit of context, I wanted to talk about the difference between inventive and innovative, since we are talking about innovation, where inventive is to create something that fulfills a need, something new essentially, while innovative is to improve upon a system that already fulfills a need, but to make it more seamless, so streamlining it. In my research I've been currently doing, I've been thinking about ways to stay ahead of uncertainty, as we have kind of found our way into a very, very uncertain time in more ways than one. And so one of the ways that we can stay ahead of uncertainty is accessibility, making sure all of our resources are accessible to both educators and students, being cost efficient, taking account the cost of some of our tools to implement things and how sometimes it might not be feasible depending on the budget a school has or institution may have or provide for the teachers to use. Security and safety, since even though there is internet etiquette, not everybody follows that, especially if you're dealing with younger learners too, who are currently learning about how to be safe online. It's a little bit more of a need to have a system that already has some type of security for young learners, as well as those who may not be fully fluent with technology or the internet. Another thing that we can do to stay ahead of uncertainty is having multiple backup options. One is like Google Cloud, others like a backup hard drive. If your data were to be compromised, you have a backup so that it doesn't hinder you in any way, where if you lose all your files, you're like, okay, I can have a new one to already put in. Next is functionality, where we need to have programs and using technology that actually functions and does what it's supposed to do and what you intend for it to do, which kind of bleeds into practicality, where it needs to be practical in implementation. It needs to actually serve its function as well as be appropriate for its application. I have picked out a few online spaces that you can create for a classroom and kind of compiled them up onto the slide, where I will be talking a little bit about them as well as emphasizing the cost of them. So first, we will talk about Miro. I have spoken about this in last year's Cyber, which I attended. Forgot to mention that, but I attended that last year. And the cost for Miro is $96 to $129, depending on the type of plan you sign up for. But for educators and students, it is free, as long as you prove that you have enrollment in a school or are working faculty in a school. And for little context, Miro is an online collaborative board where students can create building materials, teachers can host classrooms, as well as have a free open classroom layout. It's not exactly where you can do break rooms like how with Zoom and how with other applications you can do, but it's still nice to have like an open floor plan. You can do collaborative work that way. And it has direct site or app compatibility, as well as real-time view of the board. And its competitor is Figma, which has all the same features, but a little bit more. I think you can do voice embedding into it, where Miro you could also do video embedding. The cost though is around $144 to $540 depending on your plan, where in this case Miro may be a more cost-efficient plan because it could potentially be free. Another online board is Blackboard. It's around $9,000 for implementation. Honestly, if you want to even try this, you probably have to get an okay from the institution. With this one, the setup is more like Skillshare, but it still has the whiteboard compatibility such as Miro and Figma. Next is Google Classroom, tried and true. The cost is $0 to $4 per user per month, and that is for the paid suite, where you have a little bit extra features. The next one is Coassemble. Coassemble costs about $1,440 to $1,920 annually, and $120 to $160 monthly, depending on which plan you want. So with Coassemble, it is very similar to Miro and Figma. All these are pretty much have the same compatibility, except with Coassemble, it's more animated, where they try to make it more interactive in the sense of things actually move, things can pop up in a very seamless way. It'd be engaging for both young and old learners. You can make quizzes on here really simply. You can do a lot of things pretty simply. There are templates for that. Either way, it all just depends on what your preference is, and sometimes even like stylistically, what are you looking for? Next is Kaltura. Kaltura costs about $228 to $540 plus. It's very similar to Zoom and Skillshare, where you have a whiteboard compatibility, you have video, but you also have your classes nicely arranged where you can just click on and get into it. And we have Zoom. As we all know, Zoom, it works. Next, we have Mural. Mural can go from $0 to 216 plus, depending. It's free for students and educators with some limitation. It's a collaborative workspace similar to Miro and Figma and all the rest of them. Similar to how Miro is, it's more of a free-formed workspace where you would essentially be making the workspace in an infinite board. And next, we will have the discussion boards. So these would be more of add-ons with an academic space. So one that is good to use is Slack. With Slack, it's around $6.67 to $12.50. I believe that is per month, but educators do get an 85% discount. So with Slack, benefits are that there are centralized channels. There is permission control. They also have a voice chat feature now, which is called Huddle. And for the discussion boards, this is not necessarily to replace an academic space. It's more of the reshaping part where it's as an add-on. And then we have Discord. With Discord, the cost is mainly for Nitro. We can go from $5 to $10. There's also still the free version as well. With Discord, it's similar to Slack, where there's personal servers, and you can make sub-servers and group servers for the students and other classes. To be more for lecture-based classes that can be accompanied with the whiteboard, but you're in it more for the lecture. And just kind of wrapping up some of the things I spoke about: collaborative spaces, building materials and templates, direct site wrap-up compatibility, real-time view of the board and occupant activity, connection from any location with access, easy assignment creation, and medium. These are very important because essentially when you're reshaping the classroom, your lessons will, yes, be put into a different medium, but their effectiveness should still be around the same. Your old lessons presented in a new way. And on here, I do have some links for some of the programs that I mentioned earlier and links to the educational perk for them. That was it for my presentation. Thank you all for being here and for sitting through all of this. And I'll answer your questions in a moment. Thank you.